This is the Movie Buff Show. I'm Daniel. We are here today to talk strangely about Mike Myers and the Austin Powers trilogy, which I don't know why we're doing that because it's Halloween.
Daniel.
No, we're talking about Michael Myers, the star of the Halloween franchise. Sorry, that's a really bad joke to start it off, but that's okay. But yeah, this is the Movie Buff Show, and we are joined. I am a staff writer here with TheMovieBuff.net. Mark, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Yeah, hi. I'm Mark Ziobro. I'm the chief editor of the site, and grateful for Daniel's video expertise today.
Expertise is used lightly. Arpit, you want to introduce yourself too?
Yeah, hi, I'm Arpit. I am another staff writer with the Buff. Happy to be here.
Cool. So just to give you guys an idea, or not you guys, but just the audience an idea of what we are doing today, we are talking about John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween, Rob Zombie's remake Halloween from 2007, as well as David Gordon Green's 2018 Halloween and the 2021 Halloween Kills, which came out on theaters and Peacock like a week ago, 10 days ago.
It was last Friday. I went to see it opening night.
Okay, that could have that would have been cool, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Now, I had a couple warm-up questions before we got in here because it is Halloween. I have some horror questions, some Halloween questions.
Let's do it.
Let's start with maybe an easy one. Do you guys have a favorite Halloween costume throughout your trick-or-treating career?
Arpit, do you have one? Do you want to go first?
I think I'm not the right candidate to ask that question because we never had a Halloween over here, but still, I think you should go first.
All right. I had so you're not talking about Michael Myers, you're talking about just any Halloween costume.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah. My favorite was, I'm hoping a lot of people in the audience have seen the film. I went as Gordon Gekko for Wall Street, or from Wall Street.
Oh, that's funny.
That was my favorite one. And somebody remarked, he didn't get the joke, but he's like, oh my God, an investment banker. Now that's scary. Which I thought was funny.
Do you have a picture?
I can send you one. I don't have one readily available. It just had a sticker on it that said "Greed is good," and a cigar in my pocket, and suspenders, and the whole dress up.
If you send it, I can put it in the video.
I will send it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Arpit. I did not mean to isolate you. I forgot that you guys don't have Halloween in India.
Well, do you have something comparable, Arpit?
No, we don't have anything where we have to wear any scary costume for sure. We have something where we have to wear certain costumes, but not the scary costume. But yeah, that doesn't make me away from the Halloween costume. I think I won't pick a scary one, but I think I'll rather be Joker. I think it will be an interesting take, for a costume. I think I always loved, but I'll take the Nicholson one. I'll take the classic.
Oh, now we're talking. That's the classic, yeah.
So no living in a society.
Petal, the acid, and the...
Yeah. Like that one. Yeah, I think I went as Freddy Krueger one year. It was a very, very sweaty mask. It was a
very sweaty mask?
Yeah, I remember just being hot as hell with it on my head. Just because it's like rubber and it kind of stank, but
Well, yeah, you got to pay more for the ones that probably don't do that.
The ones that don't stink, yeah.
Like my friend buys my friend buys like $500 Michael Myers masks, like
really?
Authentic, like Halloween 2018 mask replica and all this crazy stuff.
To borrow it for one Halloween.
Borrow it. Oh, borrow it. I thought you wanted to be Borat. I'm like,
that's funny. I don't enunciate, so that's totally fair.
No, it's fine. We get it.
These are pretty expensive stuff as well. I think I have seen this on one of the show that, I guess the knife that Michael Myers hold, that goes sold for like $10,000, so.
Was it signed or anything, or was it just like an authentic prop?
No, it wasn't signed or anything. It was just been said that it has been used on the first one, and
sweet.
There was the application, everything for that, but I was like crazy, and like while we were just talking about the Halloween franchise, I mean, I was just trying to researching about it, and the funny thing which I got to know, I think not funny, I will say, but what shocked me literally was that the whole franchise, the 12 films, worth more than 700 millions, so that's
At the
crazy
box
number.
office. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for bringing that trivia. I like it.
Yeah.
You are now the trivia guy.
Box office trivia.
Yeah.
And what surprised me is something just started as like an independent film, which has like a 12 film and
Yeah.
like has won such a great popularity and let's say uh, such a massive numbers. I mean, it's quite shocking, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's impressive.
Absolutely. If you're talking about the Halloween franchise starting with, I think it was $100,000 budget.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be an anthology, right? Until they realized people actually like Michael Myers.
I actually
think
don't
that's
have
what
the answer to
I think
that.
that's what happened with Halloween 3. That's why that one does not have Michael Myers.
I think that probably happened after Halloween 2. I don't know if Carpenter intended a sequel after the first one or not, but he did come on for the second one, so maybe he did have that in mind all along.
I think if I be very honest, I think that first two works, I think for most of the people, then the third one.
Yeah,
I think so. I remember watching the third one, and when I was watching like the whole franchise when I was younger, and I was like, "Where's Michael Myers?"
Yeah, that's why I avoided it for so long. But it's got its own charms.
Yeah, I think it's turned into like a cult favorite, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I would also like to ask you guys, like, I know Arpit, not to call you out specifically, but I know you don't have as much of a love for horror as myself and Mark. So, but I'd be curious just to ask both of you, like, what started your love for horror, or maybe Arpit, maybe more appropriate, what started your appreciation for horror? I don't know if you guys have any specific films.
If I go first, like I don't think so. I have any specific films that has hooked me with the horror as a genre, but I think my journey with the horror started with a television show actually. It's probably Indian show. You might would have not heard of it. It's called Z Horror Show. And I don't know. I used to watch it as a kid, and I used to get so scared, that I think even as a kid, it gave me certain sleepless night, and there was this a character in it as a clown, it was so scary, even sometimes if I just hear the background of that thing, I just feel
clowns are scary.
Yeah, it was very scary. And I think Goosebumps was the show. I think you both will be very familiar with it.
Yeah, yep.
I think I kind of, as a kid, I got a little scared with that thing, But as I grow up, I think Halloween is one of the film that I will say has given me a bit of a sense of a horror, and I think it was probably the first franchisee of horror I have started. I can maybe say that. I don't recall it, but I think that's the franchisee I have started with.
Okay, cool.
That's great.
The recent times, I can say.
I also love Are You Afraid of the Dark? I don't know if you guys, I think that's more of a Canadian
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling was on that for an episode, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So it's Canadian when that happens.
He's the man, so.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you can count this or not, but Eraserhead is something I also loved.
Which one, sorry?
Eraserhead.
Oh yeah, Eraserhead.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah. Cronenberg? Is that Cronenberg?
I don't think it's Cronenberg. It was.
Oh, maybe David Lynch.
David Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
the
right.
first film, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Not sure, but it's a first film. I think I mean, it's not a typical horror film, but I think I kind of loved it.
Yeah, it's like a psychedelic horror film that makes you feel like you're going crazy to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mark, did you have one that started your love?
Yeah, well, it's maybe it's a twofold thing. Like when I was 8, we got our first VCR. My parents brought home Critters,
Ooh.
It was scared me back then, but then you watch as an adult and you're like, I still love it, but it's silly, you know. But I just no, it was Friday the 13th, a couple of Friday the 13th marathons when I was 16. And then you know, I watched Halloween and then I was sick home from school and I just kept watching Halloween and Halloween 2 that I had videotaped over and over again. And I'm like, these are just the greatest movies of all
Okay.
time. Yeah. So it's really the 80s slasher genre that got me interested in horror.
Okay, neat. Yeah, I don't have as much of a love for the 80s slasher genre, but I like that.
Well, how about you, Daniel?
I like see, I got started with Scream, definitely started my love for it, even though I had seen
Fantastic.
Scary Movie first.
Yeah.
I
I
think
can't
it's funny.
stand this. I can't stand scary movies.
Oh, I like
The
it.
first one was okay, but then it's just like, okay, enough. Like
Take my little hand in the second one. I think that's funny. And then I think Cabin Fever and Shaun of the Dead were a couple of the first two horror movies I saw, but like,
yeah.
and then I think what really got me an appreciation for it was seeing Cabin in the Woods in theaters, and I was like, okay, like that's one of my favorites, and that's one that was like, all right, I can really like movies like that like sect the horror genre. It's like, all right, I have a really big appreciation
That's
for
your
it.
kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, and give me anything meta, and I'm a happy man. But I still haven't seen I haven't seen all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, so I should change that this year.
Uh
I think the third or fourth one is pretty meta, right?
the third one is renowned by horror fanatics. I'm the weird one-off that loves part one, and I love the remake with Jackie Earl Haley that everybody
Oh,
else
you weirdo.
despises. And I can't stand the rest of the franchise. It's just not my thing. They turn him into a comedian and a jokester, and it's just not my thing.
To redeem yourself, do you enjoy the Friday the 13th remake?
Love it, yeah.
Okay, good. And you can stay on the podcast.
I can stay. Well, I said I liked the one. I liked the Nightmare remake too.
But that's not a good.
It is.
No,
You're
but
wrong.
you're okay. I'll rewatch it for you. I'll revisit it. Oh,
Just read my review. That's all.
okay, sounds good. To plug the review, we'll put it in the
Yeah.
links below. We'll get into the movies soon here, but I just have a couple
Yeah.
more. One thing I had written down was if there's like a horror movie cue, like a theme song, if you were walking down the street alone at night and you heard it, which one would scare you the most?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Like just like an accompaniment, like if you've watched the Halloween movies, you know, John Carpenter's piano score that accompanies whenever Myers is around, it like do that, like, you know,
Yeah.
like if there's a horror I mean, for me it's definitely, I think Jason's the you know, that scary chant.
Yeah, it's recency bias for me that I would have said Michael Myers for like the Halloween score.
Yeah,
But
well, that's
now
also great, you know.
now that you bring up Friday the 13th, that's freaky.
It just
But I would
is...
never be by a campsite, so I think I'm fine. I like that answer. I don't know about you, Arpit, if you're still
I think
formulating.
it's not a horror film, I will say, but I think if you remember this climax scene from the film Psycho, when
Yeah,
he becomes the mother and the background noise just kind of and he just come with the knife. I think if I'm alone on a street on a dark night, if I hear that music, I think it will scare me for sure.
See, that's a good answer because I feel like that's sudden and there's no build up to that.
that's why it's well, there's tons of build up to something eerie,
Or at least with the
might happen.
music.
Yeah,
At least
but
with the
yeah,
theme,
there's no
right?
musical cue for something eerie happening.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's because you don't know what's gonna happen because it'll just all of a
It
sudden
just
you're
comes
dead.
out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere. And I think when you're alone walking, I think that you just must be talking with yourself, or you're having some thoughts, or you're just listening to some music. So you have no idea about what's going on around you. And if you just I mean, many people will know the scene, because it's such an iconic scene in a way. If you just, I don't know, if I just hear that music, I just feel like someone is just running behind me with a knife, and that's scary.
So we're all scared of slasher movie villains, is what it boils down to.
Always.
Yeah.
Now, which one do you think you could take in a fight?
I'll take Norman Bates over the other two any day of the week.
That's true. Yeah, just break the mom's corpse, the skeleton, and be like, "Mom, no,
mother,
my mother, she's broken."
Yeah, I mean, he's just a man. He's not a zombie murderer,
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I think this is gonna take us into it. But do you guys have a favorite franchise serial killer out of Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers? I mean, if you wanna put in a write-in ballot, you can.
Yeah, you can do a write-in ballot. I mean, I know this is a Halloween podcast, but my favorite horror villain is Jason Voorhees. And I just think that, like, there was never any, like, explanation for any of it. He didn't have a motive. It wasn't like, there wasn't subplots of like, oh, he's being controlled by this agents of Thorn, or he just showed up and killed people, and it was just a force of nature. And also, it was the first slasher I ever watched, so I just have a love for it.
And no remake where it goes into 40 minutes about his backstory.
Well, there was no need for that. And like, I think the thing about the Friday the 13th franchise, this is kind of an insult and a compliment wrapped into one, is like, Halloween, obviously we'll get us into what we're talking about, but Halloween 1978 is a fantastic film. Nightmare on Elm Street is a fantastic film, and the sequels kind of wax and wane in decency, or quality.
Sure.
Whereas there was never, none of the Fridays were that great. It started off as okay, and they're all okay. It's just like, that's my personal.
I watched the first Friday the 13th, and I haven't gone back to any of like the original ones, just because, like, I think I watched it on TV though.
Yeah.
And I saw the TV edit, and I was like, the production value of just like an 80s slasher was like, you know what? It doesn't look very good. Do you know what I mean? Just like the way it looks.
Well, I don't agree with you. They're great.
I think there's a charm for that for a lot of people.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's like, they're not overly gory. There's a lot of suspense and stalking, and then a quick kill versus today's torture porn,
Okay. Another podcast.
Yeah.
Arpit, what about you?
I mean, if we have to just pick between what you have just suggested, I'll probably pick Freddy Krueger, because I think my memory of this whole franchise is I have seen the whole films in a loop, so my view is similar to yours, so the first thing I see, love the concept, love what they have created with the story and everything. But as I was going through the like films, I just realized one thing, that the budget may be getting increased, but the content is not. So
right.
I think that's something, and sometimes I feel like that. I think I have discussed that with a bunch of time with Daniel as well, that what is about the horror, I feel that is the toughest genre to achieve, because let's say there are a couple of franchises which has been successful. Most of the franchises are not successful when it's come to the horror, but I think what works once, most of the time doesn't work again. And you always have to come up with a new thing in horror. If you won't come, people will not be impressed at all. I think it's very
right.
It's toughest genre, I think.
Okay. I agree. Yeah, like there's just a bunch of shit in the horror genre, but once you find a gem, it's great.
Yeah.
And there's huge cult status.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's out of context of what you have suggested, but I think I even like the Saw series. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I love the first one.
Which one? What?
Saw?
Oh, the first Saw I like.
But Mark does not like torture porn.
No, I do not.
So that's just not his place.
I think what works for me better is, when the character. I mean, yeah, it's not always needed to give the backstory of the protagonist. You just he's just there. He's just doing his business. I think sometimes it works and it makes you more curious. To know more about him, and I think sometimes that works better than knowing the background story.
I agree. It's like
It's
they
my
give away too much. It's not scary anymore when you know the motivations of,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
because you might will have some sympathy with the character, or you might find the reason that why he is or she is like this because of this reason, and maybe you will buy the reason, maybe you won't.
Yeah.
True.
I'm a man who enjoys motive though.
I like motive dropped like sometimes I like a motive.
Don't give me an exposition dump, but give me something.
Maybe towards the
Yeah.
end, not like ahead of time, like
Yeah.
anyways.
The unheard voices sometimes scares you the most than the
Mhm.
voice you heard already, so I think for me that works.
Okay. I was hoping one of you guys would say that Michael Myers was your favorite, because now I feel like I have to make a case for him, even though like Freddy Krueger would be my favorite, because like I'm a fan of that kind of dialogue, and that just someone who's kind of killing people, but he's having a shitload of fun doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like actually Halloween is the only franchise out of those three that I've seen all the way through.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Those are the three big ones, so I'm sure you can use that now to segue into what we need to talk about.
But obviously my write-in ballot would be Ghostface from Scream.
And if I'm not wrong, that's the longest running franchisee in a way for the horror, right?
Halloween? I think so.
Yeah.
But how can you?
I think they have made films.
I was just gonna say, how can you make a case for Ghostface when it's a different person each time?
He is just, I mean, it's just isn't it the mask that makes the
costume
killer?
Yeah.
Even with Michael Myers, I mean, he's a different actor.
But it's always
the
actor, yes, but it's not a different killer. Like every Scream, it's a different killer.
But that's true. But Ghostface has like a fandom. I just
I
love
know,
the character. I love how
fandom.
I just love how like every villain that plays him like just can. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're different people when they put Ghostface on, and I feel like it is just. I mean, there's two at a time, but I feel like it's just a mask, right? So
yeah,
favorite
definitely scary.
Into this whole thing that Daniel can be a killer as well. He has once been a Ghostface.
On the extra features, I had that mask on last year.
Daniel is a killer. Don't ever let him fool you, Arpit.
Yeah, he was a killer. He looks
otherwise,
like a killer.
Otherwise, I'll play my theme music on my phone and sneak up behind you and kill you. No, we'll get into the movies here. Okay. Do you guys want to start with dealer's choice? Do you guys want to start with the original zombie, Gordon Green? Original?
I mean,
what's your pick, Mark?
I don't. It's so hard, and that's why it's hard to pick something like that, because if you ask somebody, and that's my point I was just making a minute ago, what's your favorite?
No, not your favorite. Which one do we want to start with?
But it's like let's not start with one. We can finish with the 78 one, maybe.
Okay.
At the end or something like that. Reserve it. Why don't we talk about
let's start with the new ones?
Let's start with the greens.
Okay. Now I have I'm gonna share my screen here because I have a good way to start the Gordon Green ones here.
Okay.
Can y'all see that? I don't know if you guys have seen this. Hopefully it shares my audio too.
I haven't seen this.
Share sound. 1 second.
Yeah, we love to buy like $700 for a toilet seat.
Arpit.
Is that an ad?
It was an ad.
Oh, well, I have looked at bidets in the past because of a podcast I listened to. They good catch. They advertise for Tushy.
Try it again, Daniel.
It's a movie about trauma.
Yeah.
A movie about trauma. The movie is about trauma. The 2018 movie obviously was a movie about trauma. The whole last movie was a study in trauma. It's a lot about rage and trauma colliding. Trauma and evil meeting. They made a movie about female trauma. Well, it's nostalgia, but it's nostalgia based on trauma.
It's just a super cut about her saying trauma over and over. The first one is about trauma.
That's a good launching point into it, because I honestly feel like that's what both films are about.
Yeah. That tickles me. Do you want to start, Mark?
It's funny because in August I started a deep dive into Halloween, like watching all of them over again. I mean, I've seen part 1 20 times, so like whatever, I watched that again. But just once you watch them and you have the appreciation for certain ones, it's like I don't know if you guys, when I first went to see 2018 in the theater, I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was generally because of an expectation I had set up of like it doing something different than I'd hoped. Like David Gordon Green is one of my favorite indie directors. I mean, I know he directed the Pineapple Express movie, but he directed 2 indie movies, one called Joe with Nicolas Cage, and one called All the Real Girls with Zooey Deschanel. And what he does is he hires like a couple actors, and then he fills the rest of these small towns with just the people who actually live there and invites them on camera. And he makes it feel like this authentic small town. And I was just kind of like, not that, coupled with my love for the 78 version, just it didn't wow me as much as his indie films did. And I wanted more from him. But then I watched it again, and I get to like the half-hour mark, and I'm like, why did I have any issues with this movie? It does seem like this. It does seem like it's actually Halloween. It's fall. It does take a serious tone to it, and I thought it set up good characters. The only, I guess we can announce, spoiler, we'll be talking about. We'll be very careful with Halloween Kills.
Spoilers all over.
Yeah, but it's just the only part that upset me about Halloween 2018 was the same thing that upset me about parts like 5 and 6 of the franchise, where the doctor had let Michael out and wanted to have him do evil. Like I can't stand this like otherworld control of him. Like, why can't he just break out and go to Haddonfield and kill people? Why does there have to be some like controller of his actions? And that just bugged me, honestly.
Yeah, I think that is also my main issue here with Surtain, like taking out the little like pen sword and stabbing the sheriff,
killing
like,
Will Patton.
Honestly, it's kind of funny because like I did not like that twist when I saw it in theaters, and then this time I remembered. I usually remember things for most movies, but I forgot, and I was like, oh right, this is why I don't like this guy.
Yeah,
because it's a bad twist, and it's interesting that he wants to like see how he works in his uncontrolled environment. But yeah, I don't think it's very good writing in that aspect.
I think that
character.
It's one of those things, like I just pretend I enjoy this movie by pretending that doesn't happen. I just like I'll forget about this 10-minute thing and just enjoy the rest of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like it takes like what 20 minutes, but then it's pretty rewarding when he's like say something and then he gets his face crushed.
That was epic.
Yeah, that's like, no, I'm not gonna say anything, man. Just that's great. Like I agree though. I really enjoy this movie. I like a lot of the aspects. I like the new characters, like that honestly one of my favorites would probably be that kid Julian, the one that's getting babysat by Kim.
He's awesome. The first time around, I found myself irritated by it. Then I'm like, yeah, this is a modern thing, and the rapport they had was awesome. and then when she gets killed, it's like really awful
Yeah,
and
that, like,
traumatic.
it's so funny to me when she comes out, like scares him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's so good. We can swear on the podcast, right?
It's fine. Don't worry.
Okay, go
Let's
crazy.
not worry about it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, Arpit, did you watch the movie, right?
Yeah, I have seen the film. So my take on this is a bit different, and I think while I could just had a pleasure to revisit the films again for the podcast, I think one thing I like to add on just what you said, that is I think why the film even worked more, because it definitely came like after almost 9 years, if I'm not wrong. The last film before it came was in 2009.
Yeah, the Robbie's second film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that for 9 years, none of the people had seen Michael Myers, and I think, let's say, a younger generation of a horror film, wouldn't have seen anything from the Michael Myers. So, and after 9 years it came, and what I think worked best for the film, that it erased everything what we have seen. It just directly take a remake of the classic one. I think that worked for me the best.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming with the story of where it ended 9 years back, he just
Yeah.
erased everything and he just came up with the classic. I think that worked for me the best. I think that as a horror fan, or let's say someone who really liked the first Halloween, he will be or she will be able to connect with the film just because of that aspect of the film. And I can understand, like coming it from a guy like you, who probably wouldn't have liked it on first watch, but later on thought himself that, maybe why not to like the film. But I think what really worked for me in that film was, he has kept the same elements. He
Yeah.
has not tried to mess up with that. He has just tried to polish it a bit, added a few new characters, and I think the rest keep it classic. And I
Yeah.
think the time period, and I mean, I'm not, and no disrespect to other filmmakers or other films, but I think their quality wasn't that great. So I think that's why I think the Halloween, when it came in 2018, worked more better. I mean, I think
Yeah.
those points.
I agree with you. I think once you let go of the expectations of I want this to wow me as much as 78 did, that it's a very enjoyable film.
Was anyone
Yeah.
was anyone mad that they were people, I thought I read that people were kind of peeved that they retconned, like, that she's not his sister anymore.
They did that 5 different times throughout the franchise.
Oh, did they?
Like they and we're not talking about all these films, but and that was like, that came in part 2. It wasn't part of part 1. It was like it smacked of like a too convenient thing. And then then when they did when they did H2O, they retconned and got rid of 4, 5,
Oh, right.
and 6 completely, and it just took place after Halloween 2. So they did this so many different times that I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with varying timelines. Honestly, it adds a fresh perspective on things.
And obviously they can't make up their minds. I mean, this is a franchise that, after all, put in a third film that doesn't even have Michael Myers. So
Yeah. Or you just learn as you grow. This didn't work. This is silly. Like, why does it got to be the sister? But yeah, it's like, I think of the 2008 when she just goes, no, he's not. It wasn't or it wasn't his sister. That's just something they made up. Was too much of like, okay, we get it. You didn't have to like put it in our face. They could have just not mentioned it at all.
yeah, it's like, it's just a myth.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
one shot I really enjoyed here is that one scene when Michael is like walking down the street, and then he picks one house. He looks in as she's talking on the phone.
That was
and then,
pretty.
And then we stay with it as he goes around the house. We see the shape and the shadow on the wall.
Yeah.
He comes up and sneaks behind her and stabs her in the throat.
Yeah.
Like, that is so great.
And that you can see everything that's happening. And I love the fact that they brought Nick Castle back, who played the shape in the first one, to do some of the walking as Myers.
Oh, I was thinking of it, an actor. Oh, okay. So that's like, what do you mean? Oh, some of the walking. So some of like the stand-in?
No, Nick Castle is the one who played the shape in Halloween 78. He was the one that was always walking and stalking, and until the end when his mask is pulled off, and that's somebody else. But Nick Castle was one of the two Myers stand-ins in David Gordon Green's first movie and second movie, actually.
Oh,
and he brought a certain element of creepiness, like the stalking factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'd also like to bring up, like, this is obviously written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. So, like, what did you guys think about the humor? I thought I love the line where the Toby Haas goes, "Oop, I've got peanut butter on my penis."
That was
just a little subtle line.
I mean, what is being written by David Gordon? See, I feel like I don't know Dan McBride. Like, I'm not sure what David Gordon Green has to do with that, because, like I said, I don't know if you've seen either of those movies.
Starred in Pineapple Express.
Yeah, but David Gordon Green also wrote two of the most. That was my initial consternation with it. He wrote two of the most serious, like, coming of age or just small town independent film dramas I've ever seen in my life that had no humor whatsoever in them, and they're among my favorite films. So I don't know, I didn't know him for comedy when I watched this. I think that's why I got thrown for a loop with some of those meta aspects.
Okay. I love a multi-talented writer. And then is this the third time you've seen it?
Or... well, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it 3 times.
Okay. Did you like this watch better than the second one, or about the same?
No, I the first one I had seen in the theater, and I wrote a pretty negative review, and then I watched it again, and I wrote another review, and I didn't erase the original one, but I'm like, I'm gonna link to it just so you can see what I thought and how I've grown,
Okay.
And then I watched it a third time with my girlfriend. So really, the second and third time were equal experiences. I'm like, except for Surtain's character's actions, I really liked it. I thought it was a solid movie.
Okay, he is a garbage character.
It just makes no sense. Anyway.
You have any concluding thoughts on the first 2018 Halloween, Arpit?
I think it worked for me. I really enjoyed it, if I be very honest with you, because I think, like I was just saying back then, that because most of the time when I see these franchise films, I like to see it in a loop. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I just like to see all in a row. So I think when it came in like 2018, before that, I think I have revisited only the classic. And after that, I have seen it. So I think it was pretty great for me. I think David Green did a great job, I think, as for me.
Okay. Yeah, me too. And I think
I agree with you.
I was just going to say, and I like what they did with Jamie Lee Curtis is always iconic, and she always will be. And even with the grandma hair, I think she did a great job here with just PTSD survivalist.
Yeah, and I'll just add, like, one of my favorite, like, I love the survivalist, so, like, the end of the movie where she's like clearing the rooms and then kicking down the like lock-proof door. That was so like tactical and awesome.
I felt very seen, because that's like, if I had that ability, that's how I would look every night. I check around my house when I'm home alone, just to make, if I hear a noise.
Okay, no ghost in here.
I need that contraption. I'm gonna save up for it. That's my life goal now.
Okay, well, you should make it yourself. I think that's what she probably did.
Okay. Well, I'll pick her brain about it.
Add one thing, Daniel.
Oh, sure.
And back then, what you and Mark was just discussing. About David Gordon Green. That I think I just agree with Mark. What Mark just said, that though he had just directed 2 of the funniest film, like the Pineapple Express, I think, which many of the people love. I personally do love it. It's hilarious. But I think he never wrote it. He just directed it. So I think for me, he seems more like a serious guy, because I mean, that's my interpretation of him. Even if you see pictures, if you see him talking, he seems like a business. He just like a very serious guy, for me.
Yeah.
So I think movies like Halloween, or let's say serious movie, I think he's someone I believe that could make those sort of films. And well, I mean, while you were just just talking to Mark about the humor and Pineapple Express and everything, and I was just wondering that no wonder this guy uh, can't even think about the humor in certain way, because I think the last film before Halloween he made was a movie called Stronger. If you guys have seen it,
I
Jack
have.
Oh,
Gyllenhaal
The
was
yeah.
one
in it.
about the.
I think
Boston Marathon.
Yeah. So I think if we see his whole filmography other than Pineapple Express and The Sitter, I think he has made all the serious films.
Oh, The
Yeah, and
Sitter is garbage.
but
He
if
made
you
The
guys
Sitter, the Jonah Hill one.
never seen it,
It's bad.
I mean, I stay away
It's
from
okay. I
raunchy
mean,
comedies,
it's okay.
honestly. If you guys get
Yeah,
a chance to
it's
watch All the Real Girls, you might see where I'm coming from with
Okay.
his small town
yeah,
setups and what I was
yeah.
expecting the
feel like
first time around.
I feel like I get that one confused with Lars and the Real Girl.
No, yeah, but no, it's different. It
Okay.
stars Shea Wingham and I forgot who the lead was besides Zoe Deschanel, but the rest of it's just all townies. You just literally feel like you're living in the small town life without any hope. It's he's a
Okay.
brilliant director of those things.
And he did Prince Avalanche too, right? With Paul Rudd.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I liked it. I like that film better than I think The Sitter for sure.
Okay. Yeah. We'll just forget all about The Sitter. We can cancel.
Okay.
We can kill that one as we go on to Halloween Kills.
Yes.
I'm bad with transitions, guys.
That's fine.
Did they film these? Did they film these back to back? Because obviously this picks up right after.
I think
ending of the first
I
film.
mean, Halloween Ends is already in post-production, so I think that they probably filmed them close together. The pandemic skewed the release of Halloween Kills. They're supposed to
Yeah.
come out in 2019, not 2021.
Oh, okay. So that's why we have to wait another year for Halloween Ends.
Yeah, that was the point. One a year,
Okay. Now, did you want to start? You want me to start? You want Arpit to start?
Why don't you start, Daniel, and then we'll follow.
I think we should start.
Sure.
Yeah.
This was a step down from the first film. Wow. I liked some elements of it. I thought there was a lot of brutality with the firefighters. I like seeing Jim Cummings in the 1978 prologue, and I like seeing what McBride and Gordon Green were able to do with that and see their vision. And I just found like it didn't really. I think it has the structure of a Halloween movie, but I just didn't like the mob as much. But just it felt more like fanfare than the first film did. There's okay, let's get Tommy Doyle, let's get Lindsay, let's get this random nurse that no one remembers, and let's have them all try to chase down Michael Myers. And that whole mob bit at the hospital was kind of more annoying than anything to me. But I liked elements of it, but a lot of it just didn't work. Maybe I'll have a reaction like you, Mark. I didn't like it the first time. I'll like it the second time. But
I think you have to think of it. You have to think of it in a different. To me, that was him setting up a small town. Like those people live there their whole lives, and they're in the bar the night of the massacre.
It's a movie about trauma. 40 years of trauma for a whole town.
Well, no, I think that's the point of the whole thing. And when I read the description, when I saw the first trailer, I was like, "This is going to be awesome," because I didn't know that there was Halloween Ends. And I thought this was going to be the end. And I thought the idea of the whole town rising up was going to be
a single trailer for this, actually.
Yeah, I love the trailer is what got me to watch the first one again. Because I'm like, why is this trailer sparking my interest so much if I hated the first one? It didn't make any sense. But I'm trying to think how to phrase it. I think that this one just did. It brought all those characters into the fold and took the onus off of Laurie Strode, and it shows what happened. When I'm the whole city's going to rise up against Myers, but yet this isn't going to be the finale. So how are they going to do that? And I think that it shows what happens when mobs get out of control and when a whole city or town has been traumatized and finally finds a voice. It was, I mean, he stated in interviews that it was very much supposed to like resemble some of the COVID-19 paranoia and, you know, like that mental patient that gets killed because they think he's Myers. You know, I actually like this better than 2018 because it didn't have Surtain. It had although he did have a toe tag in one scene.
Okay, you hate it because of the toe tag because it mentioned Surtain.
No, I'm just saying, but you know, and I just, there was an atmospheric thing about it that I liked. It had some emotion and depth, and a lot of people were like, one of the biggest complaints was, I don't like this because I want in the 12th installment of a franchise, I want to see just kills and brutality. And then, like, you know, I think I was talking to Simon and he was telling me that like the part at the end when Dylan Arnold, you know, her ex-boyfriend, Allison's ex-boyfriend there is in the house with Myers, and he gets absolutely brutalized. And he's like, that's my favorite part. And I'm like, I'm not the guy that goes to a Halloween or horror film to see fun deaths and revel in people being murdered. I like the horror atmosphere that they set up, and Myers was unstoppable, and that's what this film did for it.
Yeah, but see, at that point when the boyfriend died, I just did not care about him. So I was like, yeah.
See, I did care about
your
him.
neck is like almost on the floor. That's kind of fun, you know? So I get where Simon is coming from.
Well, he redeemed himself. So I thought that he was trying to help his girlfriend, you know, do whatever was necessary. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah.
I just liked it.
I like the psychological aspect of the mob, but yeah, I know I get where you're coming from. You're allowed to like it. Don't worry.
How about you, Arpit?
So I think I agree with mostly what you said. If I just think that, you know, there are a few elements that pretty much work for me, like the opening sequence. I think it was fantastic. I really liked the opening sequence. I even like the flashback that they have shown of the character. I even like that, you know, they have shown that how he survived from the fire.
Yeah.
But 25 men and him, I think that something was a bit out of a line for me. I think, I mean, that is absurd for me, you know. And I think
which part?
I like what way they.
Which part was absurd to you?
When it was against him against 25 men. I think. That was, I think, it was a bit overboard with what I have watched, because I feel like that it's going a bit like too hard to believe sort of way, you know.
Kind of turned into My Bloody Valentine there.
And I mean, he comes out of there like a samurai. I mean, of a burning house, you know, as if he's some samurai or something. So I think, I mean, I think the killings were good. You know what it's known for, what they were trying to achieving. You know, the overall picture, I think, worked for me a bit. But yeah, if I have to pick between the 18 one and this, I think I'll go with the 18 one.
Okay.
I'm in the minority. It's okay.
That's fair. I liked I think I just wanted more Laurie Strode, and maybe if I would have saw the trailer, I would have known it was like more like the structure of the second one where she's just in a hospital.
It actually didn't give that impression in the trailer. The trailer gives the impression that she was going to be leading the rabble.
Because like the only bit I saw of the trailer was them on the back of the truck saying, "No, let it burn," you know?
Yeah, if you go back and watch the original trailer, it was awesome. And I'm like, I can't wait for this. And then, you know, but it didn't, the ending didn't seem, it seemed ridiculous and fantastical that he would be able to take out this many people.
But the thing for the ending for me is, how on earth does he get past 12 people who were consoling the daughter in front of the house and get up to kill whoever he kills in the window
because Laurie Strode at the same time is saying you can't kill evil like this with violence. So I think the final picture is going to ultimately be a healing picture.
But but evil can't sneak around a bunch of people and somehow get through the back door without being seen.
Evil can do whatever it wants, Daniel.
I did not. That took me out of it for some reason.
It's fine. No, I agree. It's fine to have that opinion. Obviously,
Thank you.
You're welcome,
sure.
sir.
I think I have this one question. Sorry, Daniel.
Sure.
I'm just
no, you're good.
This question came in my head. That I think I have discussed that a bit with you. Do you think that for a horror film, it is very important to get the right trailer?
The right trailer for a film?
Yeah.
I think it depends.
I think I'm talking about for the horror in specific, because let's say you're watching a thriller film, you can't give it a lot away. You're watching a drama film, you again know a little bit of context. But I think for horror, it is very important to believe with that.
For a fan like me, I don't think that. See, it needs to get my interest, but so something for like Cabin in the Woods, if the general audience might be peeved because it doesn't really show what it's about, but it can exactly. Yeah. It can't be a movie that it shows it about. So like maybe a bad example, but like something like The Apparition, which made it seem like something entirely different. Like it was gonna be a monster that's controlled by your fear, and it was just shit. Like I think a trailer needs to some extent get an accurate expectation of how you would go in. But for but trailers are probably more important than a drama movie, because I mean, horror, there are so many films, it needs the right trailer to get your attention, right?
I think trailers are good for marketing. They're not really good for the movie itself.
Yeah, because I mean, I know Simon doesn't watch any trailers. Like I won't watch trailers on YouTube. I'll watch trailers if I'm at a movie theater and I can't escape them, because I'm not going to go wait outside, but I won't, unless it's a big thing, I probably won't like seek it out. Like I've seen the Spider-Man trailer. I've seen the Eternals trailer.
You're right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Arpit, about your own question?
I think for me, trailer is a bit important. I mean, I don't want like a trailer where they give away everything, but I think I enjoy a smart trailer, because I think it gives you what you're going for. It gives you a perspective that whether you should be checking the film out or not, because I think nowadays we are in a time where a lot of content is getting produced, a lot of content every day is getting out, and I think it is important for a viewer to identify the right film sometimes. And I think trailer is a gateway in a way to intrigue people to watch a film. So I think for me it's the most important part. Yeah, the scripts and everything comes first, but still I think if there is a smart trailer, I think definitely it works. It works for many people, I think, for sure.
Yeah, because I know you're the type of person, if you don't like, I know you've told me that if you don't like a trailer, you won't watch the movie.
Yeah. My thought is very clear that I think with very few films that has happened that I have not liked the trailer, but let's say just to add another perspective on it, that if I like that filmmaker, irrespective of the trailer is bad, I might will see the film. But
okay,
I think the trailer is for me it's a thing, I believe.
Okay, fair enough. Now I just wanted to bring up I just had two more thoughts on Halloween Kills, and then we can do like wrap up thoughts and then get on to the next one. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that I thought one element I liked was the idea of someone living now in Michael Myers' house, and I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I liked seeing Michael McDonald as Little John, who was 6'5", awesome. So that's hilarious to me. But the one thing I didn't like was just that the subplot in their characters felt kind of stupid. Like with the prank, that little actress was so bad. Like I know she was like so bad because she was pranking him, but it was.
They were more irreverent, and it was showing a type of like the same kids on the swings, like, oh, he's playing hide and seek with us, and like they're being very like, I mean, I don't know if that's
Um,
how kids act or if that's how David Gordon Green thinks kids would act today.
Maybe.
Like just that rude and that disconnected from the older generation who's fighting Myers, and they're like, whatever.
I
I'm just gonna
wanted I wanted Myers to kill her and not the skull guy,
do
to be honest.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. And I also
Uh,
thought Anthony Michael Hall, he looks old as hell as Tommy Doyle. His performance was good, but geez
yeah.
Louise.
Well, he's
I
been
mean, you
around
age,
since the
obviously, but
80s. I mean, what do you want?
yeah.
You know?
But when you see him on screen,
Our
and it's kind of
expectations are
shocking.
too high for a guy at his age.
Yeah, my expectations. Yeah, it's just like, oh
Yeah.
wow, I thought you
I
wouldn't
thought
age, man.
I thought Lonnie's father was the better not actor, but the better character of all of them.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have spotted in the credits that Tommy Doyle was in this, because I thought that would have been a nice surprise. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's true.
and I don't think I would have recognized him, to be honest. Michael Hall.
Yeah, me either.
So yeah, that kind of took me out of it a bit. Do we have any wrap up thoughts on Halloween Kills?
I'm just looking forward to the next one. I guess that's all I'll say.
I'll groan watch the next one because I just didn't
Yeah.
like the ending.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I have to watch the third for sure.
Okay. Do we want to talk about Zombie, or do we want to talk about? Yeah, we're gonna talk about the original one last, right?
Yeah, we'll do the original one last, so we can do Zombie now.
Okay. Zombie.
Zombie.
Halloween 2007.
Yeah, man.
Anybody? Arpit, do you want to start with this
I
one?
think I should not start. No. I think
Okay.
it should be either you or.
Do you want to start, Mark, or do you want me to?
No, I can start.
Okay.
I mean, it's again, it's like I'll just say it. I like most of the Halloween movies. I'm not the type that like thinks that like either one of Zombies or Resurrection ruins the franchise. You know, I think they're all okay once you get past two. 1 and 2 are you know, slightly better, but I thought that Zombies film was very good. The only issue I have with Zombies film, the first one, was that the opening with showing the backstory of little Michael growing up to be a serial killer, or not a serial killer, but a true sociopath, was very well done. But once he grew up and escaped and came back to Haddonfield, it was almost like a shot for shot of Carpenter's original movie.
Yeah.
Like it's like all this time is devoted to it, and then it's just like, okay, here's just him doing the exact same thing, but with less scare factor and more brutality than Carpenter.
That's why I mentioned Jason Voorhees needs a 40-minute background movie.
But yeah, I figured. But I think it was relevant this time. It really shows. It really shows like what happened to him, like when he kills the nurse in the insane asylum or the psychiatric center he's in, and like the mother has to get dragged out, and then she goes home and kills herself and realizes that he's just completely beyond hope. Like,
yeah,
you know, even Halloween 1, which, you know, is one of my favorite films of all time, doesn't give any, and maybe that's scarier, I don't know, doesn't give any. It's like this white bread family comes home and sees their son holding a knife and like what happened, versus like you had this, try to find the right word to use, you had this really low class, you know, family struggling with poverty and domestic abuse, and it was no secret why he became a killer. And the scene where he beats that kid to death with a stick in the woods was probably one of the scariest deaths I've seen on film in a long time.
Daryl Sabera from
Yeah.
Spy Kids. I forgot he was in this, but that scene is always going to stick with me.
I love Zombies remake until Myers comes back to Haddonfield, and I'm kind of just like watching the same thing over again.
You know, I thought I think I remember you saying like the first time you liked it, you didn't really like it at all.
No,
not to call you out or anything, but
no, that was 2018, I definitely said that about. I don't think
Okay.
I mean, I gave it a C plus. It wasn't like an A plus. Like I loved this movie, but like I thought it was. I've seen it I've seen it like 5 or 6 times, and I like it.
Okay.
Something about it each time I watch it.
I was just gonna say that, like, see, this was my first experience with Michael Myers.
Okay,
I'm a 94 baby. I, for some reason, I saw the zombie versions before Carpenter. So I was like, wow, this is so
that's
edgy.
weird. Okay,
Yeah. And I like these better almost just because it was my first experience. But after watching the original, after watching the David Gordon Green remakes, it's just, I like the background of him. I like on rewatch, I like learning about him again, like Michael Myers and his backstory. But so I agree with your point that it's like more in depth, more pretty interesting. But I do not like Rob Zombie's dialogue. I just do
okay.
not think people are this hateful, to be honest. And then when you watch something like David Gordon Green's and how teenagers act in that movie, it's like
Yeah,
zombie. I feel like I like these teenagers because I wanted to hang out with them when I was younger. Because like, oh, they're so edgy.
I get what you're saying. Zombies kind of like the couple after they have sex, even just the way they're
And he's just
so self-centered and talking about them each other in derogatory ways.
and he's just so depraved at times. Like that scene
Yeah.
where it's just like, okay, who writes a security guard who brings his cousin Kendall to come rape one of the patients?
That was very Kill Bill esque. That like rape. I mean, we don't know. I mean, this is supposed to take place in modernity, I guess, but
Yeah,
mental patients were treated like absolute dog crap. You know,
yeah, that's fair.
so I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. All the characters are very, very um morbid and just what's that word I'm looking for?
Bleak.
Nihilistic. You know,
Mm,
like
okay.
but with the exception of Joe Grizzly, who's the best character.
Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead, right?
Well, the truck driver.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Ken Fore from Dawn
My
of
name's
yeah,
Joe Grizzly,
right?
bitch.
And I wanted to mention, like, just like when I'm younger, right? I don't
Yeah,
realize how many great actors are in this movie. And like then you see like all these horror icons. I mean, young Jenny from Forrest Gump isn't a horror icon, but I did not realize that was her, the sister of Michael Myers, until I watched this again.
neither did I.
Same face. And
Yeah,
like now that I'm realizing who it is, but like yeah, there's Brad Dourif played Chucky, Dee Wallace, Malcolm McDowell as Loomis is so it's very good casting.
yeah,
Ken Foree, even Daniel Harris who played Jamie Lloyd in the
yeah,
fourth Halloween.
yeah.
I thought the casting was very good here.
I thought the casting was good. The only thing in this aspect where you're, just kind of jumping the shark into unbelievability is I think that Tyler Mane is just too big to play Myers. He's like this 8 foot tall lumbering giant. Like it's like there's no point to stalking because you could just walk into a crowded room and just kill everybody with your bare hands.
Yeah, just do one arm clothesline like in Ghost Ship, right? Just freaking slice everyone apart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Arpit, what did you think about this one?
Okay, so I think I've seen classic first, then I have seen this film. Like I say, I was just watching this film in loop, and again, I had revisited it again, and I think I could see some more good perspective on the film. So I think I'll start with the good perspective that I had from the film. That I think what he tried to attempt, was that he tried to approach it more as like a character study. He tried to
Yeah.
just give you a bit depth on why he is like this, and instead of just showing what has been already done. So I think some people feel that comes with the filmmakers and the audience at the same time. They don't want to see the same thing, you know. So what he has tried to do that he tried to do the character study and try to showcase it from a different angle, But I think he tried to attempt it good, but in a way it did not help the film that greatly, because most of the people like this particular character because he is ruthless, he is just unstoppable.
Oh,
That's why people
ruthless, right,
liked him,
right.
because he just kills. There is no reason behind it. He just likes to kill. That's the only why he does it. He's ruthless. He's unstoppable. That's the reason why people liked him on the first place. But what he did with this film, that he has shown that this guy is nothing but someone who got bullied, had abusive parents, and that's why he's like this. And I think it technically doesn't work as a reason for someone to be like this way, because let's be honest, many people face the same situations. No one becomes the killer.
No, that's
So I think the realistic approach he was trying to giving, but he could not give it. I think another thing that dialogues were not sharpened enough. I think I agree with Daniel, and I think in that film, I mean, there wasn't the need of some adult scenes that they have put. I think this is the film I think has the maximum adult scenes. Just to give you a trivia.
Oh, just with the
And
nudity?
yeah, we can say a bit nudity. Yeah, and I think it wasn't needed. I mean, it wasn't a demand from the story. I mean, it feels a bit out of place, the rape and everything. I don't think so. It was needed. I think it could have been avoided for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's my view. I mean, I don't know.
it almost makes
it
almost makes it feel like the people that he kills deserve it rather than him just being a monster.
And then there's like Ken Forey reading the porno mag on the toilet.
Well, what would a truck driver be doing? I mean, come on.
But it shows it all, and that's kind of shocking for like a mainstream movie.
What I mean in this film is like showcasing in a way that he's care about the people he's killing and everything. And I think it's not needed to be shown. The man is ruthless.
So I will say from watching the movie from when I was younger and watching it now, I still believe that Danny Trejo did not deserve to die that way. Like, I think it's always like so tragic. Like, there's like, Mikey, I was always good to you, and he genuinely believed that like they were friends in a way. And it's a great death. Like, I think everyone's dream is probably to be killed by Michael Myers, like every actor's dream, But I think that's a tragic death.
Our writer Joe Hughes just talked about that, where he's like every time I watch Machete, he goes, Machete's, I've been good to you, Mikey. Like,
oh really?
Because Danny Trejo plays Machete.
Yeah.
It's just like it's that part was just like unnecessary, and maybe even the cynical part of me thinks that Danny Trejo asked them to do it.
Maybe, yeah, because it's like why be in a Halloween movie if he's not going to dunk your head and try to drown you and then throw a TV on your head? That's the only reason I'm signing on here, I don't know. I thought the kills were pretty fun though. Bleak movie compared to Gordon Green's and Carpenter's vision, but
it's Rob Zombie. I
mean, you got to expect that the finale is going to take place in a rotting house. He's just super edgy. But I don't know if we had any wrapping up thoughts on that one.
I think I'll go with the wrapping thoughts. I think I appreciated it a bit more than than before when I have rewatched it, because I think he did try a fair attempt. His perspectives were good. I think it was a decent attempt. Which did not work greatly, but I think I'll give it him a thumbs up for at least that. I mean, he had a courage to remake something which has done remarkably well, and he tried to at least add a different perspective. So I think for that he deserves a thumbs up from me for sure.
Yeah, you know what, you're right, because I mean most of the horror remakes is just like, okay, let's do the same thing over, but at least points for effort for doing something like drastically different with your own style.
I agree.
Right?
I agree with those takes.
Yeah, I feel like I took the opposite end where I liked it better when I was younger, but not as much now. But
you had a different experience though, because you said that was the first one you've ever seen, and I've seen all the rest of them up until that, and then I watched it, and I think it was one of those movies that took a while to grow on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, would you guys ever watch this again?
Yeah, I own it.
Oh, okay. Okay. And that might be it for me with this one. But anyway.
I love them all. I'll watch all of them as many times.
I think I have watched that film for the lifetime now.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Now let's go to the classic 1978 Halloween.
Let's do it.
Do the score, Mark. You did it so well earlier.
Oh, I don't know if I did it so well. It was like do
Do.
something. Yeah, and like I hate the way that like Carpenter explained that like he just took a rhythm from that he learned in childhood piano class and added like a different beat to it. I'm like, oh, is that all you did?
Oh
Like,
wow, one of the greatest scores ever, and that's all you did.
Yeah.
Not that I'm thinking about it, Jaws. I think that would be the one that would scare me the most if I was walking
Most
home
iconic
at night.
Yeah.
And about to get killed. But
Yeah.
You want to start with this one, Mark?
Sure. I mean, it's hard to like. That's what I mean. Like any Halloween like list, like what's the best Halloween? Let's rank all the Halloweens. I think is like superfluous because like this invariably just ends up at number one. You know, it's the first Halloween movie I ever saw. It's to me just, you know, amazing on so many levels. It's amazing on the low kill count, the emphasis on stalking versus killing. I mean, like my two favorite scenes in the movie are when Annie is stuck in the laundry room and he's just like looking, and it takes an inordinate amount of time looking and he doesn't kill her, and then when he does, it's like unexpected, but like, and also when Tommy Doyle is across the street and just sees Myers carrying her into the house. Like if you're like a 8-year-old kid or whatever, you look out the window and you see somebody carrying a lifeless body into a house across the street. That's as creepy as you can get.
Creepy at any age, really.
Yeah, but just the stalking atmosphere, you know, like throughout the entire series, I love Donald Pleasance, I love Loomis, but he's always pontificating about how Myers is just pure evil and like he can't be stopped, and you know, but it was just the stalking nature of like how like it takes like most of the movie for him to kill somebody.
Yeah.
It was all build up. It was Hitchcockian. It was very, you know, psycho-esque in the build up and tension. It wasn't just about let's see boobs and let's see teenagers having sex and let's kill them. You know, it's just a masterpiece in building up suspense.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. I'll be honest, I didn't rewatch it for this time just because like my last experience with the movie, I saw it in theaters in 2018 when they re-released it to go along with the new one.
Sweet.
And I just haven't felt the need to revisit it again yet. Like it's not. I like Halloween. It's a great movie, but it's just one that I watching in the theaters. I kind of felt how slow it was.
It's very slow.
It's great at building suspense, but it's just for someone like me with my more modern tastes. It's like, Michael, you can kill people at any time now, kind of thing. So I think that was my vibe with it when I saw it in the theaters. Like I really like it, but it's just it doesn't have as much rewatchability for me personally because it's so slow. And I know I'd be very much in the minority on that one, but it's just how I experienced it the last time.
You have to be in the mood to be enveloped with an aura, I think, to want to watch Halloween. It's more atmosphere than plot or reaction. And you know, that's why I personally love it, because I love slow films, honestly.
Oh, I'm gonna put it on again this Halloween and let you know what I think.
You do that.
Okay.
I love to hear your thoughts.
All right. What about you, Arpit?
So I think I'll add on to a bunch of things of what you and Mark said. Actually, I'm in between that. So I think that when I just revisited Halloween, the classic again, you know, I just thought that I think it is not giving me the same terrifying effect that it would have given the audience in 1978. you know,
True.
and I think it kind of sucks because if I just imagine myself in 1978, you know, without any smartphones, without seeing what you and me, Daniel, Mark, has seen, you know, the modern guys, you know, I think I would have been terrified, and you know, I think people would have just shit in their pants watching it for sure, you know, because I think
Thanks, Arpit.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
No, that was just that was a great expression.
It's a great way to put it. Shitting in their pants when they first see it.
Yeah, because imagine 1978, you know, you just like what just Mark said, that you know, you are just seeing your window, you see some man, you know, coming out of nowhere and just try to kill you, you know. I mean, isn't that scary enough?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You got to understand that I think the history behind it too. Like in 1978, an escaped mental patient wasn't like a really known thing that people would be even afraid of. Like, okay, somebody escaped from a sanitarium, big deal. You know, now it's kind of like a standard Hollywood trope.
Taboo?
No,
Mark, how old were you when you first saw it?
Me, like 16.
Okay, because I just laughed that Arpit called us modern guys. me and him.
I think he was just anybody with a cell. No, I'm saying but you don't have cell phones. You have just car keys. There's no any kind of like electronics or warning systems. Like he unplugs the phone line. There's no way to communicate with each other. You know, it's like
that's true.
It's just but just the basic point that like you watch this in retrospect, like, you know, a mental patient was not somebody would make somebody panic. It was just not even a common thing. An escaped mental patient, it wasn't a common thing.
If I had a time machine, like I would go back and watch this at the premiere, or I would watch like Blair Witch Project at the premiere just to see the time where these were new, or like The Exorcist even, because like for me, someone like me watching these now is like, I've seen scarier, you know what I mean? So I'd love to go back to the time where it was the first time making everyone shit themselves.
Well, anything can be like that, where it's like it's not about like, you know, but I like the fact that this movie doesn't have like blood and gore, and it's just like it's quick deaths and stalking, and it's just like it's kind of like a nightmare. But I love like when I read like Roger Ebert's review and like how this movie will really scare you, and like I'd love to go see it at a time where you hadn't seen anything else like it.
Right.
And be thrilled by it, you know.
I think that would be like an interesting perspective.
I think to understand even this film, you know, you need to make your mind think that, you know, you are seeing something that has been created in 1978. You have to look this film from that perspective. So if you will try to see it from that perspective, definitely, I mean, I'll agree with Daniel that, you know, definitely you will find, I mean, even if I see that, you know, I will feel like that, okay, you could just do this, you know, instead of going through this, you know, rather than you just can do the straight attempt of killing, you know. But I think at that point of time, that's how it worked, you know, that you have to build the plot before you come up with the final kill, you know. So I think there's something while I was revisiting it, you know, I just felt that it sucks that, you know, I mean, it would be great, just like Daniel said, it would have been great if I could just not even have the premiere, but if I could just watch it at more like in 1978, 1978, 1979, you know, it would have been great, you know, visiting it at that period of time. I think definitely it would have given me a whole different experience. And I think, I mean, Daniel has seen it in a big screen. I never saw it in big screen. So I think the music and everything adds a great element, you know, that it can definitely the sound effect and everything can gives you the real chills. And I think it had some pretty great sound effect compared if we just think about something that has been created in 1978. And I mean, I just sometimes wonder, you know, I have seen a couple of interviews of John Carpenter, and, you know, I never get the right answer for what inspired him to create this character. You know, I think his answers are different in different interviews, but I could never find the right answer, that what inspired him to create this character.
Oh, okay. Well, keep searching. Let us know.
It was initially meant to be like not even called Halloween. It was supposed to be like called the Babysitter Murders or something like that. And you like
Oh,
have
really?
to ask yourself if he didn't come up with that idea and wrap it around the season of Halloween and how much it feels like Halloween in the movie, it might not have become as successful as it was.
Because that's what they refer to it as in the Halloween Kills, right? Oh, the Babysitter Murders of 1978.
Yeah, it's probably
that's interesting.
homage to
Yeah, and I'll notice the homage in the. Pretty sure they're wearing the masks from the green witch mask from Halloween
They
3.
are. All three of the masks, the pumpkin, the witch, and the
Oh,
skeleton.
oh, those little shits. Oh,
The
right.
the silver shamrock mask from Halloween 3. Yeah.
They should have killed them all. Okay.
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 Wow.
I think I think that was the last one on our programming.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any wrap-up thoughts on that one or in general?
I don't think that I do. I think I've covered everything. It's definitely that. I love the franchise. Halloween 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I just am looking forward to seeing how the new franchise wraps up.
Do they have a date for the Halloween ends yet?
Yeah, well, it'll probably be the same thing, October of next year, I'd imagine.
I hate having to wait a year after a bad ending. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I disagree with you on the bad ending, so I can't wait.
Different perspectives. That's
Yeah,
okay.
but it's okay. You'll. I think you should
Just
probably watch it again before that
disappointing
and see if you
ending.
still feel the same way.
Yeah, won't be until next September. I can tell you that. Maybe I'll have to watch it again for extra features. Depends how quickly we do that episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you want to plug where you can find us online, Mark, and our
Yeah.
socials?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the Movie Buff. We're located online at TheMovieBuff.net. You can also find us on Twitter. It's weird how I had to arrange it, but it's like at _movie_buff. We're also on Facebook under the Movie Buff, and also this video will be on YouTube as we're growing that channel. And my cohort Matt Christopher runs the Instagram Movie Buff. And
We have an Instagram.
Oh, we have an Instagram. Yeah, he puts mostly some of his some of the funnier memes that he makes on those. But you can just search the Movie Buff and you'll find us there as well.
And we also have a store, right?
There is a merch store that's just starting. You can find the address right on our website, and we do have, please like and subscribe us on YouTube. And if you do like what you see, we do have a Patreon that we just started with varying degrees of perks if you're interested in supporting us.
Very cool. And my shameless plug, you can find my website too at filmcrazies.com.
Yeah,
I had to get that out really quickly. So
Daniel is a long-standing writer with us, and please support his work as well.
Yeah, I'll say it slower, filmcrazies.com.
Yeah, very good.
I felt like I had to rush so I could get it in before you stopped me. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to stop you. Arpit, and you're not on social media, but you can find Arpit's work on our website as well, and and YouTube for his interviews, and look for more from us in the future.
Yeah, awesome. So I am Daniel Prinn, Arpit Nayak, Mark Ziobro.
Yep.
Yes, cool. Thank you guys for listening to or watching the Movie Buff Show.